And, as we wrap up on Tony, and Tony was definitely a force, but just so everybody knows that this was a task unit of 40-plus guys, and there was absolutely a core group in there, and Charlie and Delta Platoon, of guys that were, without question, without any question whatsoever, warriors that, like I said, held the line and towed the line and went forward over and over again. And the rest of the guys, maybe the guys that weren't quite in leadership positions, but it was a very tough deployment. Casualties, firefights, killed, wounded. And there was stress, massive amounts of stress. And there was combat fatigue. And there was fear. But all these guys overcame that fear to do their job so we could accomplish the mission that was put in front of us.
I think that's something that has to be recognized, and it's some of these guys are still active duty, and we're not going to name them, we're not going to talk about them, but they were a critical part of the team, and that it's not, as we kind of back to what we were talking about with American Sniper earlier. I mean, I think Chris would be the first person to tell you that this is a team effort. It is a huge team effort, and so we couldn't have done. The snipers couldn't have done any of the stuff they were doing without the machine gunners, without the guys carrying the rockets, without the guys carrying the radio and all the heavy equipment that goes with that. And, the corpsman that's carrying his, all of his equipment. We couldn't have done any of that as SEALs without the support from the Army and Marine Corps and with the support those guys brought to us. And so it was a massive, massive team effort. And just particularly those guys in Charlie Platoon, I just couldn't have been more proud of our guys going through some incredibly difficult situations and stepping up and getting the job done and making the best of a very bad situation, doing what they need to do. It was just an honor. It was an honor to serve with those guys. It'd always be. We had some horrific days. I would do anything to trade those days. I'd do anything to trade places with Mark Lee and with Ryan Jobe and Charlie Platoon, who gave their lives. But most of those days were the best days of my life and always will be. And it was just such an honor and a privilege to be a part of that.
And one day I'm going to get the Delta Platoon commander on here, and I'm going to tell you right now, he's going to say the same thing about his crew and the work that they did and the incredibly harsh environment that they went through and the sustained combat operations that they conducted as well. So, thanks to all those guys.
And thank you, Jocko Willick, for being our leader, for training us, for teaching us, for inspiring us, for instilling in us this default aggressive mindset to go out on the battlefield, into the fray, into the worst, most dangerous areas, and make a difference and win. And none of that would have been possible without your leadership. And I'm proud to have served with you. And I can tell you that was, you read your speech earlier. That speech was incredibly powerful. It's something that resonated across the SEAL teams with me, my generation of SEALs, and every SEAL that I knew or worked with about what that meant. And it really captured so much of what we think in a way that maybe other folks couldn't articulate it, but it certainly captured the message of what SEALs should be doing, the nature of war, how we need to train, how we need to prepare ourselves and how we always need to remain there. And when you gave that speech, and I was honored to give a speech as well at that retirement ceremony. But as you packed your bags and retired and left the SEAL teams, I remember thinking, it's a sad day in the Jocko SEAL teams. And it really was. But you certainly left your mark on the SEAL teams, not only for me and all the guys from TU Bruiser that we served with, but the generations of SEALs that you trained, that you passed on those leadership lessons there to. So we thank you.
I'm not dead yet, but thanks. Thanks, brother. Appreciate it. It's awesome. And yeah, let's